Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Eleutheria. I'm your host, Beth Symes, and my guest tonight is Joe Emilio. Is that side?
Yes.
That side. That side.
Yeah.
He's to my left on the screen. Um, and obviously, being a comedian, I think lockdown has affected his income quite drastically. And a lot of people in his industry and related industries. So we thought we'd do a stream about how people can make money during a lockdown.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that are in this situation. So, Joe, please introduce yourself and tell us where we
Well,
can find you.
all right. So, like Beth said, I'm a comedian, local comedian in Cape Town, based in Cape Town. And I've been doing comedy for 10 years, built a bit of a career, especially organizing and promoting shows in my area. I've also been a freelance graphic designer. That's always something that I had to fall back on. So for me right now, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing graphic design and I am doing YouTube, which for every performer, I think at this time during COVID, it's really our only option. Well, one of the many options, but online, basically, digital platforms, or where we can kind of vent and connect with our audience and just have a good time. Some people, or some comedians rather, I should say, are trying to do live shows like this, but it's a different ball game. It doesn't really work that well. Where, as a stand-up comedian, you like to hear the audience and the way they react to certain jokes and stuff like that. So it's very difficult at our current in our current environment to do that. So I think in terms of diversifying your income for a comedian, maybe just making skits, like what I've started to do, commenting on the news or news analysis in a funny way. I've seen a lot of comedians actually started to do that, to be honest. There's quite a few. There's at least 3 others on the top of my head that do it already. So stuff like that. If you're an entertainer in general, it depends on what you did as an entertainer. I mean, musicians, I think, have it a little bit easier than all of us. It's very easy to sit back and listen to some music. DJs as well. eStream, actually, if you check out eStream Cape Town, they're doing some amazing things where they're actually helping comedians and DJs. Every day they have a lineup of, well, not every day, I think it's Thursday to Saturday, they have a lineup of comedians. And on Saturday, you can see me there as well. They actually help me out. That's with Distel as well. They help me out, and I hang out with the comedians as well. So that's one of the ways those guys are helping. But if you don't have that, if you're a comedian or a performer, just digital music, there's people out there that are doing special like shows. So, for example, they'll say, buy a ticket on Quicket. I'm doing this live show, and they try and make it as entertaining as possible. So there's like that. I mean, I've seen some entertainers do poetry, and some people reenact certain scenes and stuff like that. So there's different ways, and I think if you can't do that, if it's difficult, you need money now, then I think what some performers might not realize is that they could be good at something else. So, for example, voiceover. That's something that was brought. I was actually speaking to a fellow comedian last night about it, and he was like, "Yo, you should really think about doing, voiceover." And I'm like, you know what? That's something that's still around because people are doing commercials and stuff like that. It's actually something that you can get into. So it's stuff like that where you're so focused on, I need to perform, but there's other options as well that you can do. And if you're good at, there's a lot of comedians that also do graphic design and stuff like that. So they just fall back onto that, fall back onto any skill that you used to do. Obviously if you used to be a waiter, that might be a bit difficult, but motivational speaking, that was something else that was brought to me, or brought to my attention. People saying like digital online speaking or online motivational speaking, which I'm still going to try and do. So there's many different ways you can use what you've already learned in the past few years. It's however long you've been a performer, to just be creative and think about. And I think the motivational speaking is one that is very I think, needed, because there's a lot of people out there that might be hurting and anxious, not sure what to do, and they need a bit of a pick-me-up, so to speak, when it's tough times. So I know that it's some people would rather maybe speak to a counselor for that kind of stuff, but a motivational speaker can also just give you that hope, like, hey, hang in there, it's tough times right now, but that kind of stuff. So yeah, many different ways. I think right now, as human beings, we need to be as creative as possible when it comes to diversifying our income, and I think for the most part we are, and to some extent, if you don't, well, then it's survival of the fittest. So
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who she hustles like every day. She hustles to make money, and basically before, like, we were locked down, when the first measures were first put in place, she was already looking, okay, where can I buy sanitizer, and where can I buy this and that, because how she started her business was she started selling Epsom salts in bulk for people who wanted to bath in Epsom salts. Not just Epsom salt, she added to the bath water, and slowly she added more and more products like Himalayan salt and all sorts of different things. And so what she said were, as soon as this hit, she was like, okay, I'm going to sell sanitizer. And then when she sold, when she started that, a woman said to her, oh, well, you're actually just taking advantage of the situation, of this awful thing that has happened. And I'm like, you know what? It's that victim mentality that's going to end up with that woman not surviving, because she's going to lose her job, because the company she works for is going to close down during the lockdown or whatever, something like that. And you're the one that's going to survive. And that's it, And she said she'll never apologize for
no, she mustn't.
hustling to.
It's sorry. It's also like when I started doing my YouTube channel, I could see this coming like a mile away, that we're not going to get, like, performers and are not going to get help from the government. There's a whole funding campaign that they did, and then some people were helped, some performers were helped, but depends on the performer, and you need kind of a business to be funded. So a lot of the performers, especially comedians, were just cast aside, forgotten about. Rob Van Vuren actually got threatened by FNB, which is ridiculous.
It is
and
ridiculous.
So I started to see a lot of the guys being angry, and like I said, I saw this coming, so I started the YouTube channel. The idea was to interview comedians, have a fun, nice chats, lively chats, interact with the audience, and the audience can donate if they want. They don't have to, but at least if they donate 100 Rand, 2,000 Rand, whatever the case, I can give that to the performer. They get something. It's 2,000 or 500 Rand or 200 Rand that they didn't have. And I started to, obviously I wanted to promote this. I wanted to be like, hey guys, look what I'm doing. I'm trying to help. If you just share, more people, then we're all helping each other, right? And I started to share it to groups. And I got shunned for self-promotion. Like they didn't, I'm like, but in a way I have to self-promote, because if people don't know about my channel, they're not going to know about what I'm doing. So can't you see that what I'm doing is far more important here? Like I worded it in so many different ways. I tried to, like, not even mention my channel and say, hey, I'm helping or like I'm check this out. This show is about helping comedians. Like I remember I wrote that out once. This show is about helping comedians. Please consider joining, like tuning in, not joining the channel, just tuning in. And I was still labeled as self-promotion. You should be ashamed, taking advantage. I'm like, what? Like, do you guys like? And then I had to. I actually put out a rant on social media, because I was like, this is not self-promotion, guys. Like, you guys don't understand. I put like snapshots of the comedians who received emails from these funding campaigns that told them, like, sorry, there's no money for you. I put the screenshot of Rolf and Furen who was in the news. He was there was a news article about it that
Yeah, I remember
FMB,
seeing it.
yeah, that FMB threatened him. So I put that in there, and I'm telling people like, this is not I'm trying to flip and help my fellow comedians, like. And it's not just limited to them. It's like musicians, actors, whoever wants to be on my channel who's a performer. If people donate, you're going to get money. It's as simple as that. And I'm trying to help people out. But yet I got labeled as like, oh, for shame, you shouldn't be self-promoting, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, really? In this time?
Yeah, I actually remember meeting you. The first time I met you was in the comments on one of Ramon Cabinet's live streams.
Yeah.
And he was looking for a guest for a show the next day. And you were like, hey, I'm available. And,
actually, I asked him, what does it take? I remember this because I thought he was like the coolest. I still think he's cool, but I mean, I was so nervous to ask him. Actually, I was like really intimidated by him in terms of like, I thought he was a big star. He's a YouTube guy, and because I only had like 2 subscribers. And then I asked him. I remember the question was, what resume do I need to have to be on your show? That's what I asked him. So yeah.
Yeah, and he said, well, I don't know who you are, so like send me an email. And next thing you were on the show, like the next day. Really cool. And only then, once you were on the show, did you actually start promoting what you were doing. Like I didn't see you in the comments saying, please come over to my channel and come and support comedians. This is what I'm doing. So I think you were already like on that people were already giving you a hard time by the time I met you.
Yes, they were. It was starting then, and it was just progressively getting worse. But also, like, I wasn't sure if I could do that on a live chat because I get the feeling that when people do that, it's like spammy, and then you get blocked by the moderators or whatever, you know. So I also know, like, unless the person who's hosting the show gives me permission to do so, like Ronaldo has. He said, like, he's made me a moderator. He said, anytime you need to promote something, like, obviously don't spam people, but if it's something you feel is important, you can say, and he gives me permission to do so. So yeah, that's the only time I'll really go on anyone else's live stream and promote, is if I feel that the people that are watching would enjoy it. When it comes to the comedians, I feel like, yeah, I don't know, because again, I've been so nailed with that like self-promotion thing. I'm almost like, yeah, shy, or not shy, just, you know, what's that saying? Stung once, stung twice, something like that. What's it?
Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, that
That's
thing.
the one you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I actually just want to refer to a comment. Yeah. A comedian isn't allowed to self-promote. I was under the impression you were the product. How else can you promote then?
Yep.
I mean, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, the logic that I got was I remember the one response, and you know what? I'm actually going to call out the group because I think they're a bunch of douchebags. I really do. I don't like the group. I'm part of it just to like see what these assholes say. Sorry, I don't mean to swear. I shouldn't swear.
It's okay.
Sorry. It's just that they really pissed me off. It's what's that one? End the lockdown, Mzansi, or something like that. End the lockdown, South Africa. Why are your eyes going so wide?
I left all of those Facebook groups. I got added to them, like by friends and stuff, and I left them. And then I got re-added, so I had to go on flippin' laptop, not on the mobile, so that I could say, do not allow me to be re-added to this group. Because one of the ones that started, I could tell there was a political agenda by the guy that started the group, and he wasn't being forthcoming with what his agenda was. And I was like, no, dude, you tell me now, or like, I don't actually want to get involved here. Like, I want to know what your agenda is. What's your plan? And he was like, no, don't worry, all will be revealed. I was like, bye. And so by then it was when End the Lockdown and Mzansi came on my radar. I was just like, no, please, just no. It's like I'm staying. You know the group hashtag I'm staying?
I'm part of
they're
them
all
just
the
to
same.
watch the stupidity.
Yeah. like the ass creeping and the
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So they were the group that so I was like, I think before, okay, so before I made any noise, I was just sharing my post to the group. And then a week in, I noticed that they hadn't shared anything that I wanted to share on that group. So I then started to comment on other people's posts and say, like, this group hasn't, like, I've been trying to like promote myself here, or not promote myself, but I've been trying to tell people about what I'm trying to do to help comedians and performers, and nobody's getting back to me. This is crap. It's not self-promotion. It's this, that. And then eventually one of the admin people got a hold of me. And then I messaged her. She's like, send me a DM. First she was like, I'm so sorry, Joe. Like, we get inundated with a lot of like, requests to post. Please send me a DM and I'll share immediately. That's what she said on the comment. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get that. It's like 100,000 people on the group. Yeah, sounds like you're busy. So then I send her what I want to post. And then she gives me this long spiel of like, you must understand, like, I don't have time to always respond to people. And, it's a very busy platform and I have a job and blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, oh, by the way, I can't post this because you have a link in there and it's self-promotion. And I'm like, oh my word. The link is to my YouTube channel. How else are people going to watch if they don't have the link? So then she said, if you made a post about my frustration, for example, I said, how dare F&B not let Rob van Vuren off the hook?
Mm.
And then I shared that to the group. And then made another, like, a comment on that post saying, oh, by the way, guys, I also do this and here's the link. I'm like, but why are you making me do this whole rigmarole thing? Like, why does it have to be so complicated? That makes no sense. So I'm still part of the group because their true colors are coming out. But they're a group that, like, I don't know if this is true, but they did do a protest. I don't know if you know this.
No. How many? Was it like a virtual protest or was it like physical?
It was a real protest before Black Lives Matter and all that happened. Like a week or two before the whole George Floyd thing. I think it was like week 6 or something. They were like, okay, let's organize this like thing, and we're gonna have, like, everybody must do social distancing, and they had everything planned out, and they had certain meeting points and stuff like that. 6 people showed up. They posted it on the group, and then I'm so angry.
The middle class in South Africa does not protest. They do not protest. I remember it was the beginning. It was sometime in March. GOSA was trying to organize a proper protest as well because of, I'm not sure if it was the gun amnesty or the expired license case. That march was supposed to happen on the 18th of March. And obviously a whole bunch of stuff happened that it didn't happen, but they were genuinely concerned that no one was going to turn up because middle class South Africans do not protest. They don't. They don't fight for their rights. And that whole thing that you just explained about all the rules and this is how you need to work your way around them and everything, that is what I like to refer as not Eleutheria.
Yeah.
Because Eleutheria is freedom. Eleutheria is our liberties. And as soon as you make it very difficult for a person to do stuff, you are infringing on their liberties and on their freedom. So on this channel, people will hear me say that's not Eleutheria quite a bit. And it's because that's like my tagline. That's what I'm doing. This is not freedom.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I don't like these Facebook groups.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, there was this whole post, like, they were so angry, right? So they were like, like, nobody came out, blah blah blah. I saw that. I'll explain that in a moment. But the guys were like, on the group, they were like angry because only 6 people came out, but then they had this whole, like, it's a weird post because first they were angry, Like the first paragraph, they were angry. And then it goes on to say like, yo, but we know that we have to keep on going and that people are scared of COVID. And yeah, we just got to keep on going because, you know, it will slowly grow and grow and grow and grow. We do it once, more people. We do it again, more people. We do it again, more people. And it's like, maybe because it was the first time, maybe people were like wary, like, I don't know if they're really going to protest. Like, because I was like that when I saw the post about them protesting. I was like, nobody's going to protest. And then they had 6 people. I'm like, okay, well, people went out, so maybe next time I should go out. So that is a rationale of people. But I think you're right. Like the middle class doesn't protest because they don't want to screw with the, what's it called? The way of life, so to speak. They don't want to get in trouble. Everybody's scared because if you
No,
protest, you're going to get arrested.
yeah, you know what the problem is, Joe? We live in a police state.
Yeah,
We do.
exactly.
Because I mean, even when it isn't lockdown, we are too scared to go out. Like you, if you get pulled over by a traffic cop, you're like wondering, oh my word, like, am I going to be arrested? What's going to happen? Like, you don't know the state of mind of the person that's pulling you over, and yeah, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. So
Exactly.
yeah, the middle class is very, very scared of the police state.
I do
And
think that that's a mentality that we need to break. And I don't mean to sound and like an anarchist or something, but I mean, I look at the area that I live, and nobody's following the lockdown. Everybody's out doing their thing. Like they're wearing the masks and stuff like that, and they're sanitizing when they need to. But I think even before level 3, nobody was. I mean, Mother's Day. Everybody in my neighborhood had their mother over, like literally everyone. There was the following weekend there was a huge party and a huge braai in my neighbor's place. Like nobody. This was before level 3. Nobody was listening to it. Now it's even worse. Like there's like normal traffic again. There's, you know, it's almost like some kind of normality, except for obviously the masks that we have to wear everywhere we go, which is stupid in my opinion. But yeah, so I think maybe right now, if they did a protest, they might get a little bit more people. But for the most part, you're right. Nobody, I don't think the middle class will risk their livelihood to protest because they also think like it's going to end eventually. Like that's the thing. Like that's what they think.
yeah, that's the other thing is there's very few of us that have been completely against the lockdown from the beginning.
Yeah.
And because there were very few of us that actually said, good luck getting your rights back. Good. You think you're getting cigarettes back in 3 weeks' time?
Yeah, look,
What
it's
happened?
been longer than 3 weeks. Yeah.
He extended the lockdown. And then we were promised that cigarettes were going to come back under level 4, and they didn't. And then, you know, and it's like this whole thing. Now it's in court and everything. Alcohol was only brought back last week, Monday, and now you can only buy it 4 days a week.
And
It's
now it
like
looks like it's
living
going
in
to be taken away.
pre-1994 South Africa with the times that they're allowed to sell alcohol. Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of us predicted it. But everybody's like, oh no, you know, they're just doing it to save lives and they will give us our rights back. I'm like, no, they won't. And look, we've had to go to court over so many things to get our rights back. I mean, the rest of the world is opening up again. Today, worldwide, COVID figures of recoveries versus active infections are, it's like past the halfway mark, but we've been there in South Africa for a long time.
Yeah.
And yet our lockdown is still pretty harsh, although, you know, who's actually adhering to the lockdown. But I also think you're in the Western Cape. And I think that you guys have a different mindset down there than what people up here do, particularly among the middle class. My husband works for a hospitality group, and so he's got colleagues down in Cape Town. And he was saying that no, they were in and out to their sites like no problem. Like they didn't care. Like they would just go in and out, no problem. My husband worked remotely. Hard lockdown the first 3 weeks. He went to buy groceries and that was it.
Yeah, I think
I
we all
think
were
there's a
there.
definite different mindset in the Western Cape compared to Gauteng.
Well, like I said, Mother's Day, everyone was visiting their moms. I think right now, I mean, you saw what happened when they said that whole school thing, like, oh, we're only going to open 1 week from now, and then Western Cape was like, haha, not on our watch.
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
I think that's the mentality. Because here's the thing: yes, people were scared at the beginning. I think that over time, people have realized, like, they've seen how the economy has been affected by the lockdown. And I mean, if you watch on YouTube some of the carte blanche interviews that they've done, they're very short. But like I watched one last night with one about the restaurants, because as a performer and as someone who organizes comedy shows, and most of them are in restaurants or bars or venues, I was interested to know what the effects have been on the restaurant industry. And they had a little bit of what you call it, interview about that, and they were interviewing restaurants, and they were losing, like, this one restaurant was losing like 1.5 million like a month or a day or something. Like, it was crazy. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of revenue that is just gone. And it's hurting the restaurant business, and especially obviously tourism, but the restaurant business is being hit hard, and they're grateful that now they can do deliveries and people can collect, but not all restaurants. It's not worth it for some of these restaurants to even open up for that. And then
No.
I'm scared that by the time we do have like a lockdowns completely finished or lifted, a lot of the venues that we used to know are going to be gone. They just won't survive, and then that's the reality. Even like carte blanche, they said it many times. They said, like, we don't know. There's one apparently very popular restaurant in Durban was like, we have a month left. That's it. And that's scary. And that's the thing. People are seeing this. People are seeing, like, wow, this is now really affecting the economy. Some of our businesses are going under. We need to get this economy back on. Okay, so how can we do this and at the same time be safe while doing it? And I think that's why people are just like, you know what, screw this. I need to put food on my table. I can't survive on, whatever reduced salary they might get. And even worse for some of the people that are on these SESA, or what's it called, those grants, where you get 350 Rand. Like, that's disgusting. That's a slap in the face to those people. You can't, I mean, how the flip do you survive on 350 Rand? It's absolutely appalling. Yeah.
I don't know how they can call that a relief grant. Like, really,
No.
I just don't. And that's per family. Like, if it was per family member, I'd say, okay, so you're trying. But that's per family. And that's just not okay. And that's if you're not already receiving other grants.
Yeah.
So I just don't see how it's supposed to provide any relief for any families. And then also the food parcels that get handed out, I'm just absolutely horrified at what they put in them, because
Oh yeah.
it's like 10 kilograms of rice and 10 kilograms of pap and a jar of peanut butter. That's your protein. A jar of peanut butter and maybe 4 tins of baked beans and maybe a couple of tins of pilchards. That's
That's
it.
what they feed prisoners, right? That's like literally the prisoners' food.
I actually swear that prisoners in this country get better food than that, Joe. To be honest,
Possibly, but
that I
that's,
honestly think that they get a better meal than that.
yeah. Like, I remember
I,
seeing a documentary on South African prisons, and that was what you just listed is what they used to get, like, back, like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. Maybe it's changed now, but yeah, that's literally. And it just goes to show you what this government thinks of the unfortunately poor people here. Like, and they want to try and say that it's something else when it's not. But like, the blame goes to something else. But no, the government does not care about its people. If you're feeding
no,
them
they don't.
rice and peanut butter, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And we need this lockdown to be done as soon as possible. And again, I've been saying this for a very long time. I remember when this first happened. So this is what happened with the entertainment industry. The Saturday that Cyril said we're in a state of emergency. So he didn't say there was a lockdown. He just said there's like a state of emergency or whatever, crisis or whatever. That week, any show I had coming up, besides my one-man show, which I thought might still happen, everything else that I had planned for the next 2 months, all the venues called me, sorry, let's call it, not going to happen. So almost immediately that following Monday, I had no more income. Like, that's how crazy it was. And that was a week before he even announced the lockdown. And then the week came, he announced the lockdown. So then I was like, okay, definitely not going to have any income now. And maybe he said it's only going to be for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So maybe 8th of May, where I'm going to film my one-man show, can still happen. So let's keep it. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, so then he extended it. Then I called off, or we postponed my one-man show. And yeah, it's been very scary, because I remember when there was like, everybody was saying like, oh, do you think there's going to be an extension? I was like, hell yeah, there's going to be an extension. That's when I started to see all these like behind the scenes things, like, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. Why do we have such a strict lockdown when the rest of the world, like where we are now is like Europe's hard lockdown. This is where we were supposed to be. So it's almost like they imprisoned South Africa, right? And gave them food and water, but like bread, like here's your slice of toast, here's your water. And then they imprisoned us for 3 months, or sorry, 3 weeks. And then when they started to give us level 4, level 3, because they were giving us, okay, here's your better food, here's your better, here's your little treat, here's your little carrot. Then it's like, we're like, most South Africans like, oh, thank you, sir. Like, now we have that whole, what's it called? That syndrome or whatever. And it's, I could see it happening. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, Cyril's like amazing. And like, look, oh, we're opening up. See, it's not going to be as bad as people say. It is as bad as people say. We were supposed to be on level 3 from the very beginning. From the very beginning, we were supposed to be on level 3. And
Absolutely.
look at how hard they're keeping on to their power, extending the, what's it called? The crisis or the disaster thing for another month, until whenever. They'll do it again, probably. Or I'm hearing NDZ wanting to appeal the tobacco thing already,
of course she's going to appeal it.
Yeah, so I mean,
she can't. Her ego cannot handle being told, no, you cannot do this. She can't handle it. Of course, she's going to appeal any ruling that goes against her. Anything that goes against her, she will appeal, and that's it. But talking about like being on level 3, which is where we should have been all along. I know a lot of moms that work from home so that they can be at home with their children, and they make stuff, whether they make jewelry or clothes or lately masks. That's what they do, and that's how they help pay for stuff in their home. So when it was first announced that we were locking down, and Cyril said those who can work from home should. I just want to say hello to Reactionary Opinions. Thank you so much for joining us. No problem. You can catch the replay later.
Let's have that back in instant replay.
So I thought, okay, well, it's great. We'll still be able to keep on working from home and making items and selling, and it'll be fun. Next thing, oh, no. You're not allowed to sell anything that's non-essential. No, that's not allowed. No. We'll tell you what you can sell. So why tell us that we can work from home if we should, and then curtail us from actually doing that?
That's a real problem for the online shops.
That was when I was like, okay, this is no. This is going to be a fight for our civil liberties, and there were very few of us. Reactionary, who's here, knows that we were very few friends that actually agreed that this was just draconian and unnecessary and just absolutely a power grab.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Can I address Donovan's two comments there? The first one, he says, next election, people will flood to make their mark on the wrong box. Yes, some will, but remember that only 10% of the registered voters voted in the last elections. So there are, I think the lockdown has proven that the ANC doesn't give a damn about its people. And while there are the loyal supporters, I agree, there are a lot of loyal supporters. They because the ANC has lied to them and said, oh, but if you vote for any other party, apartheid's going to come back, which is obviously BS. But DA and Cape Party and other advocacies like Cape Independence Advocacy and even other like COPE and stuff like that are making huge strides. And I don't know if you know this, which is also something that's going to really hurt ANC in the next election, is today history was made because now you as an individual can run for president, which is almost like in America. Yes. So we now vote who the person is.
Not the party.
Not the party. Instead of the party voting who it is, we as the people now have the power to vote for a person to be our president, which will be a game changer. And it will be, they say that it will be in effect. Now, obviously, we're talking about the current government, but it will be in effect. It should be in effect within 24 months, which is just before the next elections. And a lot of people are talking about it. It's a game changer. And we can still then hold that person, we as the people, can hold that person accountable rather than having, like you've seen now with the ANC, dodging bullets left, right, and center. You know, Zuma still hasn't been tried. So those things alone, or that alone, would be a huge game changer for the current political landscape of South Africa. So, but even if that wasn't happening, I don't think the ANC would have remained in power. We've seen too many failures. This tobacco ban has pissed off a crap load of people. I mean, there's just no way that people would forgive or even forget. Which is why I think they're holding on to the tobacco ban. They're trying to make as much money as possible before they lose their power. And then, yeah, sorry.
Well, the conspiracy theory that they're profiting from it because of the illicit cigarette sales. Yeah. Mr. Punisher, Ramon has included it in his video, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, I think.
Yeah, and I'm also going to make a story out of it.
Synopsis there.
Because that's big news. And I'll probably release my video either tomorrow or after. But actually, okay, so now there's 2 points I want to say, but the pay-per-view thing, very quickly. It is and it isn't. I don't think I have enough star power to pull that off, to be honest. Guys like Mark Lottering, Nick Rabinowitz, Barry Hilton, they can definitely do that, and it will work out great for them. Skulk Bazainod, the Goliath brothers, absolutely, they should do that,
and they are doing it.
Yeah, they have been doing it. So they have that star power behind them, where millions or thousands, 100,000s know about them. So them doing a live stream is like perfect, you know, once every week or once every 2 weeks. I don't have that reach yet. So for me, it's a catch-22 situation. I could do it, and then I'd have to charge maybe 100, 200 rand. And then I might only get 50, 100 viewers. So it's like doing a normal show. But guys like Goliath and those guys, they know so many people, so they make it cheap, like 50, 60 bucks. And then they end up getting like hundreds of thousands. So all that 50 rand adds up, you see. And I could try and do it at 50 rand, but I don't think I would even get 1,000 to watch me, to be honest. And that's not a knock on me. It's just, again,
you're just not as big as
that stardom. Yeah, I don't have that stardom, which is why I'm heavily pissed off with COVID, because I was gonna get my big break, and then it went away.
And then you would be in everybody's living rooms, and everybody would know who you are, and they'd be wanting to buy your quicker tickets so that they can watch your little one-man show that you try to do in your living
Yeah.
room or yeah.
Sad
No, I get
times.
it. I get it.
And what was the other one that I saw that I wanted to comment on? How did I not hear about this? I was busy today. Yeah, so funny enough, not a lot of people heard about it because obviously it aired on SABC. So if you have TV or if you have DSTV and you watch the news, you'll probably hear about it. So I would say still a lot of people heard about it. But I noticed something. I saw this when it first broke this morning. Like that's how early I woke up this morning. And literally as it was happening, I was watching it. And I caught like the end of it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this story. And something interesting has happened right until now. Only 1,000 views on their YouTube channel. That says a
Wow.
lot because they have like 900 odd thousand subscribers or somewhere around there, or 200,000, somewhere there. Can't remember which one has it. And only that. And then I looked on Twitter because this should be trending. This is history, literally history making news. And only so far, only Big Daddy Liberty tweeted it, which then prompts Conscious Caracal, and I think Ramon then got a hold of it, and so it's kind of with us, kind of like snowballed.
Yeah,
But
I saw a
nobody else.
retweet of Musi Maimani
Yeah, he was.
tweeting it, but
He
that was
was
only
there.
this afternoon.
Yeah, and he was
So
there. So it's interesting to me how you can just see that some news is not really being pushed out there. I'm sure there's articles. There are articles. I've seen them, but it's just social media just doesn't give a damn about it. Even though it's a big
no.
deal, you can see like, something's being suppressed here, and it's very interesting because obviously the ANC doesn't want people to know as much as it is a history making thing. I think ANC and some people in the higher ups, and I know I sound very tinfoil hat right now, but it's just interesting that should be something that makes every South African proud, because you, Beth, can run for president now. I can run for president. Your husband, my wife, people watching can run for president. Big Daddy Liberty could run for president. Ronaldo, Ramon. It's such a huge, big deal, and it just feels like it's just for whatever reason not getting out there. And I could be wrong. Maybe tomorrow it will, explode because maybe it takes a bit of time to get out there. But the media, ENCA, SABC, they're talking about it. But it's just interesting to me that not a lot of people have seen it on social media. Yeah. So don't feel bad, Mr. Punisher.
Yeah, there's things your government doesn't want you to know.
Yeah. But yeah, like again, that's why we need guys like Ramon and Ronaldo and Jeremy even, and now I've kind of come into the mix, because that's definitely something I'm going to talk about in the next video that I do about the news, and I'm going to make it very patriotic. So be sure to tune into
You're
that.
going to catch us up on the news. I'm not going to give away anything with that comment.
Yeah. Well done.
Something like that. You're still deliberating.
Yeah.
I think from my side, all I want to say is to people that might be looking for advice on how they can diversify their income is to maybe look at things like their hobbies, what they enjoy doing in their spare time, and if there's a way that they can monetize that. My husband has become a bit of a craftsman and is making
that's really cool.
jewelry and stuff like that. And when Joe and I were talking over the weekend, Joe said, start a YouTube channel and show how you make it and stuff like that. And if my husband doesn't want to do it, then get the kids to make the videos and put them together and put it up. And eventually, if a YouTube channel starts gaining traction, not only does it become your advertising material, because now you're getting a very inside view of how your handmade product was actually handmade. But it's also, you can show your product, showcase your products, and then maybe eventually you can monetize your YouTube channel. So I refer to it as stacking your income streams off of one thing that you do. So that was an idea I had. And then state proofing. We both agree that we have to get a professional on to to talk to us about that. But I think the first thing is if you're saving for a pension in South Africa, get it out.
Yeah.
Get it out.
Yeah, they're coming
Last
after
week
that.
already.
Yeah, they're coming after
And
that.
yes, sorry, Scott, I'm not ignoring you. Of course, you're in the alt media realm. Of course.
Scott
I
who?
assume it's Scott McLaren.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And us Oaks. Okay.
Yes, reactionary opinions. Have you checked out their channel?
Yes, I have. I've seen a chat with them. They must get in touch.
Me first.
Okay.
Joking.
Obviously, there's plenty of time. I mean, like that's the thing.
Yeah, we're
I
not
think,
running out of time. No one's going anywhere.
yeah, like that's the thing. Like there's so many YouTubers now. Like before the lockdown, I will say this. I never even thought about, like, I mean, I thought about YouTube, but to me, YouTube was like a spot where I could put like skits or something, you know, maybe old stand-up comedy routines, which there are, by the way, on my channel if you want to go check it out.
Yes, I
But
did post your channel in the comments. I'll do it again.
cool. Crybaby right now. But I
Sorry.
had never thought of this stuff before. Like I didn't think it was a thing, and the lockdown has like opened up a whole new world of like content creation, and it's really cool. I'm loving it. And like I don't know, it's an interesting like how before I used to think of YouTube like that's not going to work out. There's no money in that. Boy, was I wrong. Not that I'm making money off of it now, but I can see that some of the guys have really succeeded and are doing quite well for themselves. And I think the lockdown in that regard has made it beneficial for YouTubers. So guys like Scott, you know, I'm assuming some of your stuff has also gotten more subscribers throughout the lockdown. Your content seems really good. And oh, you mean you're literally, okay, your baby's literally crying now. Okay, cool. That's good
Yes.
and bad at the same time. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
good to know that you're not a baby.
think Scott might be in what us parents affectionately call the suicide hour.
Suicide
It's that
hour. Okay.
hour where baby's niggly and you can't really satisfy them and they're not really ready to go down for the night, but you'd really like them to go down for the night because they're actually pretty crabby and they're like just not having any of it. And yeah, we call it suicide hour because it's like the 1 hour in the day where you actually feel like,
Killing yourself.
okay, I'm not done. I'm done. Like I don't know what
Man.
to do for you anymore. And nothing's working, and I feel useless as a parent. And
Yeah.
yeah, we've all been there. So I'm just saying, I'm so glad
Yeah.
my
Well,
kids are bigger.
he's saying yeah. So spot on.
Yep.
So yeah, I think in terms of diversifying income, look, at the end of the day, like Beth said, like find a hobby. Well, not find a hobby. If you have a hobby and you can make it, you know, lucrative, then do it. I think also another maybe people should think about, which a lot of people have, is like you were saying earlier, masks. You know, find someone like that can brand them. You know, suppliers, speak to them, start a business, and start selling masks because that's not going to go away anytime soon.
I
Even
mean,
though maybe the peak has kind of come down, but people are still going to buy it.
yeah, I mean, what Ramon did was just hilarious. If you,
Yeah.
people really need to go to www.gimpmask.co.za. Don't Google GIMP masks because
Yeah.
something very disturbing will come up. Okay, just go to the website gimpmask.co.za and buy Ramon's masks because he came up with two really, really good designs to poke a bit of fun at this whole
Yeah.
thing. And like, just yeah, go have a look at that.
Do you think he did that on purpose though, so that people do Google?
I don't know, because I don't know if there was an existing company name or like I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Ramon.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think he would do that.
He has a sick sense of humor.
He does.
Sick sense of humor. I like it.
Man. Ramon, if you watch this later, we love you.
Oh, we do love you. We love you a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of times when Ramon is being sarcastic or facetious or he's just trolling people, I'm one of the few viewers that actually pick it up. And I'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, someone's snarky tonight, extra snarky tonight. And I'm like, that's the Ramon I know. That's like tame Ramon, like he's boring.
He is a little bit
So,
boring.
oh, Mr. Punish has already bought the masks.
Well done. Oh, arrive on Sunday. Nice. Nice. Be sure to take a selfie or a picture of it and send it to Ramon. I'm sure he'll be happy to post it somewhere. Speaking about Ramon, though, what was? Oh yeah, that thing about the bishops thing that they. I can't wait to see that. If he interviews someone from bishops, that'd be really awesome.
They're
to see.
not gonna follow through. Lefties never follow through
We'll
on
see.
it. Like they never agree. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'd love for it to happen though. I'd love for those little privileged boys to actually realize, like, really, really.
No, I think he needs to speak to someone in bishops, like a teacher or something like that. The kids, it's going to be too risky even for Ramon to do it, because he might, even though he's a father, so I think he know how to handle kids, but he might come across as bullying or incriminate himself in some way, and then the lefties will have a field day. Like, look
But
at
he
this.
doesn't care.
Right. I know he doesn't care, but still.
He said he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, to give them that ammunition. Look, I know he doesn't care, and he'd probably do it anyway. And you know what? Some of these kids probably do need a bit of a PK just to get them right. I mean, yeah, you can say I said that. But I mean, whatever. I mean, the stuff they said even in that what's that list of demands? Like,
yeah,
dude, you're 18 years old. Like,
if that.
If I came to my parents with a list of demands, my dad immediately take that list of demands and wipe your ass with it. That's what he would have said.
Yeah, no, and the fact that they're going to a school that costs in excess of 200,000 rand a year to attend. I can't. Like, I can't do spoiled brats. I can't. Like,
yeah,
I'm not raising my kids like that, and I definitely can't handle it in other people.
Yeah,
like
some
I'm
of
just
them
like,
are
oh,
too much.
please.
But yeah, so diversifying incomes, I think the simplest way, if you really are someone who is struggling, to find out what you need to do. And I think that's the tough part, is what am I going to do now? If I was a waiter my entire life, or not entire life, but like before COVID, and the restaurants now closed, or I was laid off or whatever. Think about doing maybe some research into certain things. There's plenty of YouTube channels that can teach you a new skill, whatever it is you want to do. But the most important thing is to find something that people need right now, something that's in demand right now. So whether it be an Uber driver, a delivery man, because that's definitely something that people need right now, is deliveries. Ask other restaurants, like, hey, can I be your delivery guy or whatever? And then maybe
personal
you can
shopper.
get back into, personal shopper. There's that
for
too.
Old people.
Exactly. So I know it's not exactly maybe what you wanted to do, but you got to do something. So there's always ways.
Referring to this time as like war times, like when the whole world came together and like everybody had to do stuff that they didn't want to do because that's what you had to do, So yeah, whatever will help put food in your family's bellies and help pay the bills, like just do it. Like just hustle. Like
Yeah,
everybody's hustling at the moment.
yeah,
Everybody's having
exactly.
to figure out how they can make extra income without killing themselves. And a lot of people are probably also like still working full time, but have had to take pay cuts because
Yep.
companies just aren't making the same amount of money. So, that's why, like, if you can monetize something that you're passionate about, then do it
Mm-hmm.
because, that's something that could keep you wanting to do that for a very, very long time. And it might turn into something very, very lucrative. And it might end up that you're one of those people that says, you know what, it feels like I don't work. I don't have to get up and work in the morning because it doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
Um,
I think a lot of people might tell us like, "Yeah, easy for you to say who's already in a house, and but not all of us can, figure it out. We don't have access to internet and stuff like that." And I say, yes, you're right. Nobody. Maybe there are the few that don't, that aren't going to be able to watch the show. But then you can
mm,
go if you've seen the show. Then you go to whoever is looking for a job and pass on the idea instead of
yes,
criticizing us, because
absolutely.
we are here to talk about it and hopefully enlighten some people to think outside the box. And that's exactly what you should be doing as well. Pass on the message. If you see someone in need, help them out, even if it's financially, if you can.
Mm,
But the most important thing is to be kind to one another, I think, in whatever it is you decide to do. That's important.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be the only stream that's along this topic line either, and I hope it's not going to be the only time Joe comes on.
No, obviously come back.
And yeah,
Yeah.
as Joe said at the beginning, his fallback trade is graphic design, and
Mm.
Joe very kindly donated my logo and all the artwork and everything that I use across social media is Joe's special skills that way. That way. So please check him out. What's your website, Joe? What's the best way for people to get hold of you?
I actually, well, it's my wife's company.
Okay.
So sapphire.sky.co.za. You'll probably end up speaking to her because she's the big brains behind everything.
Yeah, she's
Um,
really awesome. She helped me come up with what I wanted to call myself.
yeah. So um,
I'm
we do.
grabbing a link that will come through in the
Yeah,
comments as clickable.
sweet.
Sorry.
We do everything. So whether you need a corporate identity, marketing advice, or consultancy,
Mm-hmm.
and website design, we'll do any design work for you. We just don't do printing. We'll outsource the printing.
Mm-hmm.
But anything with marketing will help you. Basically, if we need a business to be marketed right now, there's actually a lot of businesses that need it
Mm,
because they need new ideas and need new ways of thinking about. Okay, cool. So we're in this crisis. How do we market ourselves to appeal to our customers? So
absolutely. Yeah.
she's very good at what she does. She's excellent, and I highly recommend her. I'm just the guy that helps her out every now and again when things get a bit hectic. So yeah, she's the big brains behind it. So
Cool.
yeah.
And then I can't get a link on your channel to the show you're doing in half an hour, which is why we have to say goodnight soon. But I have
Uh,
linked
I
Joe's
sent it to you on
channel.
your phone, I think. Well, I'll send. Do you have your phone next to you? I can send it to you now.
But then how do I
Mm.
put it in the live chat?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about. Okay. Wait. Okay. Is your email open?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. 2 seconds.
Or send it to the Eleutheria email. That one's definitely open.
All right. Two
Eleutheria
seconds.
ZA0 at
Uh,
gmail.com.
okay. Coming. 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 Coming.
So
Talk. Say something.
Joe's doing a show in half an hour. with Jack Miller from the Cape Party. I'm not sure if he's going to. Okay, Gamer Wolf just showed me that it's come up on her phone as a reminder, letting you know, Joe.
Yeah, okay. But just in case there's anyone else that's watching.
I know. Okay, let's get the email open. And then
Eleutheria. I don't even know if I spelled this right. Eleutheria. What is it? Eleutheria?
ZA.
Hello? ZA? 1.
No, 0.
Oh. 0.
Wait. Maybe. Why did I put it on? Why are we breaking? Because I'm trying to do too many things on this computer. That's why we're breaking up. You there?
Yeah. Where is the email? Pop it up on your screen.
I'm gonna put it on now. We like froze, or I froze anyway. Like everything on this computer froze because I decided to open one too many things. I don't know.
I just want to make sure that I spelled it right.
That's the email.
Eleutheria. ZA. Yep. Okay. Here it comes. Coming in hot.
So Joe's talking to Jack Miller from the Cape Party in half an hour.
Yeah.
So head on over there. If I don't get this link.
How about common sense and logic advisor make billions weekly nowadays?
Let me guess. That was Donovan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that Donovan?
Well, that's kind of what I do on my channel as well. I mean,
yeah, we
yes.
try and. There we go.
That's funny.
Jeez, I don't know what's going on with this computer tonight. It is so slow.
That's because
Like
you have
ever
a window.
since I sat down to it. Okay, Game Wolf says it's always slow. Yeah.
Beth, before I go,
yes.
I want to say thank you very much for the tremendous support that you have given in the past, like since we met, especially with my channel. You have definitely contributed to all the subscribers that are, well, not all, but I mean like a large amount, especially in the past week, to the subscribers that have joined in the recent week. You have been phenomenal at sharing my stuff everywhere, and I just wanted to thank you in person, well, digitally in person, for the excellent support that you have given, and it's really been awesome. Thank you so much, and I will have you on my show as soon as I find a date.
Yeah, no, you've got like a jam-packed schedule because you're a freaking machine and you live stream like every night, and like no, it's like it's just easy, you know, because you say you know this, but I don't believe you. Scott wants to know if you can speak Spain.
I know, I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, can I speak Spanish? It's like someone, can you speak American? That's what he sounded like in my head. Can you speak American? Can I speak Spanish? Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Bene tú. That's pretty much all I know about Spanish. That's 2 sentences. I used to.
People think that you're Mexican, but
yes. Look, I do have a bit of that in my blood. There's definitely a bit of that, which is, I mean, hello, like this. There's evidence. You know, some people say I look like a mix of George Lopez and Jay Leno, their love child, and
yes,
Eric Estrada.
Yes, I can actually see that.
Eric Estrada, especially. I don't know if you know Chips back in the day. It's an old thing.
No, I do remember it, but not like vividly. I remember pretending that I was Chips on my little black motorbike when I was a kid.
Do yourself a favor when
a cap and sunglasses.
Do yourself a favor when we're done here, okay? I'm going to do this. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now, keep
I remember
that,
that. I remember
keep that
that.
in your mind, and then go Google Eric Estrada.
I will. Okay.
Now
Well,
everybody
you've
else
got
is
an
going to do
epic show coming up now with Jack Miller, and
Yeah.
I know you've got to prepare for it. Thank you.
that. Sorry.
He's right. Like, I remembered it. As soon as you did that pose, I was like, yes, I remember that. I remember that. Anyway, thank you for all of your help and especially your encouragement when I was like deliberating, like, I don't know, do I want to do this? Do I really want to go on my own? And you were there. You encouraged me and you said, just do it.
Yeah.
And I think if it hadn't been for you and my husband saying exactly the same thing, like every 30 seconds, I don't think Eleutheria would be here. So
yeah. Don't forget about Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
absolutely. Yeah. So thank you. And to everybody that has joined us tonight and commented and just made this so much fun, and everybody that might find the replay, please subscribe, ring the bell so that you get all the notifications for when we come on again. And yeah, have a good evening, everybody. Cheers.